What's going on, everybody? Today is Sunday, May the 5th. I just got down to the shop. It's Sunday morning. I think it's about 9:30, I think. Maybe a little bit later than that. Pops and I have been busy on the Cold Water Popping Plus factory stock chassis. And we've been busy on a lot of other stuff too. Everything's been kind of running together lately. But that's okay. We're getting our bearings back. We're going to get busy back on the Cold Water Popping Plus chassis and get it knocked out this week. I think they're going to come get it this coming weekend, which will be the 11th or 12th, I think. I think 12th is Sunday, which is Mother's Day. And so I think they're going to come next weekend and pick this one up. I'll turn the camera around and show you what we got going on and show you what all we have done. Pops and I have been knocking out a bunch of bars on it since the last build video. And I just wanted to tell everyone thank you for wishing Pops a happy birthday in the comments under the last little short clip last weekend being Pops' birthday. And I know he read the comments and we were talking about it. I'll get him on video here in a little bit. I'm sure he'll want to thank everyone. And he's up at the house right now. So we're going to turn the camera around. We're going to get busy because I had a lot of videos on my phone. I don't know what I done with them. We've had a lot going on, y'all, and I'm not making any excuses, but I just deleted a bunch of videos, so that's my own fault, and that's why we're making this one now. So we're gonna get busy. We got the fuel cell in for this car, and we've got to get some square 1-inch to build the fuel cell cage, and once we get that square in this week, or I say get in, we'll get it this week. And we'll build a fuel cell cage for sure this week. But I think today we're going to finish up some 1.25-inch bars back here in the back on our bracing. And then we're going to get busy building a drive shaft loop in the support bars and boxing in the frame rail on the driver's side, so we can get busy doing a firewall and floor pan. So y'all hang out with us. We're going to work on a factory stock. Alrighty, so since the last video, the last build video, Pops and I have knocked out the rear clip, and we've got all of our support braces in for the spring pockets, shock mounts, both sides, and then of course we have our rear clip built, and this bar here and that bar there, what will be, you know, the fuel cell will be clamped to, fuel cell cage. So that's how we've been doing them, and we also built the mid-plate bars, got all the mid-plate mounts in since the last video. So all that is built and in, the mounts are in. We could go ahead and take that jack stand out of there now. And this piece of tubing laying right here is 120. It's an 1.5 inch 120. We left it laying out. We got a new order of tubing, so we got a full rack of tubing again. But to keep having to go up there and getting down tubing, we left a piece of 120 out because this is what we will use for our door bars and under the seat. So we'll be cutting pieces off of this to do our bracing under the seat and of course our door bars. So we left it out so we wouldn't have to reach up there and get it. So yeah, we were working on, y'all see that bar there, that 1.25-inch bar bracing there. We're gonna be doing one here. And then, of course, we're going to do a short one from the frame to the back of that hoop to keep anything from going in there. Both sides. We do it on both sides. So, and we've been talking we may come in here and do another 120 bar across here, just a little bit up above this bar here, or bar up above this factory cross member, and that will be a weight bar. We're wanting to put a bar right there so guys can have somewhere else to clamp weight across the top of the rear end, and it'll be, you know, in front of the back tires, so it'll be in between the rear wheels. And so we're going to keep on plugging away at this thing. I was trying to think of what we had what else we were going to do. We do have to make some 1-inch braces here, both sides on the back here like we did on the front. And so we'll do those. And that's why we moved this 1.25 inch down a little bit, because we want this to tie in right by that 1.25 inch. So we're creating that triangle, all that triangulation in this main hoop and in this halo, because obviously this is where we want the best support. And we'll do one over there also, but we will do our head support bar like that there. So we'll have that bar, but if you'll notice, we do have a 1-inch bar at the top. So we do have all that. So we'll get all that in there. Y'all hang out with us. We've been we still have our parts for our car back here, our bearing spacers and all we talked about before, our belts. Shout out to Dustin Newton. He hooked us up with some good stickers, and these match our banner that y'all seen us hanging up. And we've got a bunch of these stickers. We got 3 of these big stickers here that we would like to keep for ourselves. And then we have a bunch of these that are hound dog and American flag, of course with the bloodhound on there. And we have a bunch of these little ones here. Then we have a bunch of these. So I've had some guys say they would like some stickers. Of course, we've been giving these to our guys that buy a chassis, because we want them to be able to have some stickers, you know, to put on their bodies and represent us. And we appreciate them very much for doing that. Shout out to Dustin, really. We fixed his car the other night, this past week, and we had to redo the front hoop in front of the radiator again. And then we fixed up the bumper a little bit. We've done a little bit different bumper bracket mounting. We actually done a plate. We welded a plate on the end of the frame and then a plate on the bumper instead of just a slip-in tube, because it was breaking them off real easy. So we done a real thick plate. Dustin actually brought some plate steel. It's 1/2 inch thick. And we made a mount, and just something a little different, maybe a little stronger, that we're going to look into doing on these other cars, on these newer cars. So we've just been busy, y'all. My mind's kind of scattered, but that's okay. Like I said, we're getting back in the groove. We got parts racking up for our car that people have sent us, sponsored us. We got brand new AFCO springs for the front. We have a hydraulic slave cylinder kit from Speedway. So we're trying to get everything ready to, once we get the motor, that we can bolt it all in, get it turnkey, finish the body, and hit the racetrack. So shout out to Twisted Performance and Machine, Brian Mitchell, Morgan Willingham, all the great folks at Twisted Performance. I know there's a bunch of guys down there, I don't even know their name, and I'm sorry. I'll get down there and hopefully do some video when we go pick up our engine. So shout out to Brian. He's been helping us out a lot, and Morgan. So we're excited to get our motor, and Dustin is running really good with his. So we have 100% faith in the Twisted Motors, and they do a really great job. If y'all have a crate that needs freshened, 602, 604, factory stock engine, whatever you need, they can hook you up. So we're going to get busy. I'm sure Pops will probably come down here in a little bit and do some box burning, because we definitely got to get rid of some boxes. That is the fuel cell for this car, like I was saying. Also, I had these come in. Some pretty slick hound dog chassis hats. Jill at J&J Embroidery in Texas. She hooked us up. They designed those and hooked us up. So we've been giving these to guys that we've been building chassis for. That's our priority with these hats at the moment. I will have some more made in case anyone would like to purchase one. We'll probably do these for, I don't know, $20 if you see us at the racetrack or something, and then we'll do them for like 25 or 26 shipped, and that'll cover flat rate shipping. So we got hats. Also, I want to shout out a really good dude. I know I'm talking a lot, y'all. I'm just trying to get you caught up. So Matt Burney. The man's name is Matt Burney. He, you may have seen his name if you watch Talon Willis. I want to say it's Burney Performance is what he told me that they go by. He sent me the logo. I'd have to look at my messages, and right now it's hard to do that down here with zero service in this shop. So Matt Burney hooked us up. Man, I'm talking hooked us up on something really cool that's going to help us in the future. So in this box is a small block Chevrolet mock-up engine block from Summit Racing. You bolt it together and it resembles the size of a small block Chevrolet, 350, whatever, 305, any of them. And you can bolt motor mounts to it. You can bolt headers to it. You can bolt bell housings to it. Really cool. Really cool. So Pops and I are going to bolt this together soon. We didn't want to pull it all out and make a mess and start bolting it together because we do have this one over in here. And that is going to be a lot lighter than this. So this block actually has a crank and rods and pistons in it because y'all remember we were trying to imitate the weight of an engine in our car to get ride height, bumper height, stuff like that. So this one we can pull out, tear down, put back there under the bench again, and we'll have our mock-up block that we can put in all these new chassis and stuff when we do the mid-plate and motor mounts and stuff. So shout out to Matt, buddy. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. That's going to help us a lot. It'll be a little bit better to deal with. I'd say it's going to be a lot better to deal with than a factory block with heads and stuff on it. So thank you, man. We appreciate it. Y'all hang out with us. I'm going to quit rambling. We're going to get busy slinging some tubing. Y'all hang out. All right, y'all. Well, we got our 1.25" bracing in. We got those in right there. We fit. Y'all watched in the time lapse. We put this one in, that one in, and our one right over there. So that's all the bracing for the rear clip that we're going to do right now. Like I said, we've been talking about putting a bar in here for weight. And Pops and I have been talking. We may put it between these 1.25" right here. We may just put a piece of 1.25" across here, and that'll be able something to clamp onto extra. Because fuel cell will be clamped to this, but there is room usually between this and the fuel cell to where weight can be clamped on this bar as well over the rear end. So we are going to put another bar in there. We just don't know where yet, and we're going to do some looking at that. We may do something a little different and make it to where that bar is functional, not just for weight. So we got all that in. Y'all saw in the time lapse that I was cutting right here with the plasma. What I done was went from my mark here, leveled down to the frame, and had to trim that out a little bit because our firewall will sit down in there a little bit. And Pops was grinding on this, and that's where the floor pan sits. He just stuck the yoke in the transmission. And what we're going to do is measure back, and we're going to go ahead and knock out a drive shaft loop. And then once we get that done, then we'll start putting our bracing in over here after we get our 1/8" plate welded in the side of this frame rail. So we'll get our bracing under the seat. Once the drive shaft loop is done, once the bracing is finished underneath the driver area right here with the frame boxed, it's time to start putting firewall and floor pan in it. So that's where we're going to try to get to today. We'll try to get as much knocked out today as while we got free time, and see what we can't get done. Y'all hang out. All right, y'all. Y'all remember in the last video, well, I say last video, on the last chassis, me and Pops talked about how we like to square off the floor pan and transmission tunnel with the drive shaft loop. So this time I just built the drive shaft loop over here on the bench and just made it square, and pretty much got the yoke center of the drive shaft loop. And that's 12 inches wide, so it's plenty big. And you can see that it has plenty above the yoke, because the drive shaft will, you know, obviously taper down. That's where it stays most of the time. So I just built it over here on the bench, welded that in. Pops is getting all that trimmed over there on the frame, so it's level from this bar over to that frame rail, because we'll put our 1/8 inch plate in that frame rail right there, and then we'll tie in our bracing to that 1/8 inch plate and the frame. And once we get that, the floor pan will lay across level all the way over to that 1/8 inch plate, and we'll tie the floor pan into that 1/8 inch plate all the way down through there up to where we trimmed it out earlier for our firewall to sit in there. So we usually put the firewall in first, then we'll slide the floor pan in against it, and but we may put the pan in first and then put the firewall down to it. I'm not sure yet, but we'll get there. We'll kill that snake when we get to it. But right now, since we got that drive shaft loop in there, now we have to put our 1/8 inch plate in so we can make these braces and see where we're going to be at. Because we like to put a brace in line with the drive shaft loop, just so you have that rigidity from there all the way through that to this other bar over here if that frame rail ever gets hit. And then we do these braces underneath the driver out of 120. Like I was saying, this bar here, we'll use it, and we'll do 120 bracing, because the brace back here will have the seat mounts in it. We slug it for the seat mount, and then that brace there in line with the drive shaft loop is about under the floor pan where your feet will be. Feet will kind of be a little bit up here, but by the time you put that firewall in and that brace there, it stiffens that up pretty good. So you don't let it bounce. Of course, we weld all that in. Y'all remember we've got this bar tacked in. We'll do our firewall. We'll actually measure down to where this bar is, write those measurements down, put our firewall in, and this bar will go through the firewall back and tie in, and we'll weld all that back in once we put it in. But yeah, that's where we're at. Y'all hang out. We may split this video up into a couple of different shorter videos. I don't know how long this video is getting, but I'd like to get more and more videos out instead of waiting a week to put a video out. That way I don't have to worry about trying to keep all that content and editing all the time. I can just start hammering videos out every 2-3 days. And that way it'll be more for y'all to watch, and it'll be more content on our channel. So we may just start splitting these up and doing like 15-20 minute videos every 2 days. Y'all let us know in the comments if that's something y'all like for us to do. That way we have more stuff more often. And if it is, that's what we'll work on. And y'all hang out with us. We're going to keep on rocking. Well, y'all, we had a little issue with our plasma cutter, and y'all seen in the time lapse we were trying to cut that 1/8 inch plate, and we were going to cut the piece we needed to box the frame, but It's a prime weld cut 55 DS plasma cutter. And we've had this issue happen before to where it acts like it's not getting a ground. So if you notice in the time lapse, you see where I get the grinder and I grind off a spot for the ground clamp. Well, we thought that this wire that they used is pretty, I mean, it's cheap. So what I done was I took this brass fitting and I filled this up with solder and just peeled the wire back and stuck that down in there. And then of course bolted all this back together. Well, that didn't help. When it happened before, Pops and I rewired the plug on the front of the machine. And it's just a little 2-wire plug, 2 or 3 wire. I'm pretty sure it's 2 wire. And then we put a new end on the hot wire. Before it fixed it. So we took all that apart, checked everything. The wires are good, plug is good, fittings are good. And we put it all back together and we still don't have anything. So we don't know what's going on with not getting a ground. I haven't looked into it yet. I'm sorry, I called it a prime weld earlier. It's a Yes Welder brand. I just looked at the side of it. I've got a prime weld TIG welder around here somewhere. And so I haven't looked into it yet. I'm going to look into it tonight and see if I can't figure out if this is an ongoing issue, and if it is, what can I do to fix it? So if you have one of these plasma cutters, please comment or let me know what's going on. John Keith at Statement has one. And when it happened before, he's the one that told me to check the wires on the front, which we did. And that helped before. It's just not working now. So anyway, we got a little bit done today. We got the drive shaft loop done. We got all of our 1.25" bracing for the rear clip done. All that's finished up. We were hoping to get the bars in the bottom of the driver's side and start putting firewall and floor pan in it. And then that way we can work on our front end this week. Do our front hoop, our radiator hoop, tabs, of course, and get our door bars and all made once we get the driver's side floor pan and stuff in. We could do door bars and door plating and stuff like that. But y'all know the plasma cutter makes it a lot easier on us. And I would have used a cutoff wheel and went ahead and cut it. And went ahead and cut the piece for the frame rail. But I didn't realize we were out of cutoff wheels. And I have an order that's been shipped for like a week, over a week, from Benchmark Abrasives. I don't know if y'all ever use them. They're really good stuff and they have good prices. But our order left their warehouse, went all the way to Memphis, Tennessee, which is on the way here. But then it turned and went to Wisconsin. Then it went to Atlanta, then Huntsville. Now it's in Birmingham. So who knows? Hopefully it'll be here in a day or so. I'm going to grab some cut-off wheels and some more flat disc tomorrow after work. And then that way we'll have them until that stuff comes in. So regardless, we're going to keep working. And I don't know where Pops is. He's gone. I think he said he had to run to town, get some groceries or something. But I wanted to end this video off because I don't, like I said, I don't want to get too long. And I'm thinking about just doing like a 15 to 20 minute video or so every 2 days, every 2 to 3 days. That way we can get more content out. And that'll keep everybody watching. So I looked right before I come back down here. We had 1,697 subscribers. Shout out to all you guys, gals, and everyone that watches. We appreciate it very much. And we've been busy. It's just a lot of stuff happening off camera that we haven't talked about, that we will talk about, I promise. And kind of bring light to everything that's been going on. And it's nothing bad. It's all good stuff. So we'll do a video soon on that. And we just appreciate y'all hanging in there with us. We're going to definitely get some more content coming out. There's a lot of things we're having to adjust to. So we're making the adjustments that we need to make. And Well, there'll be more on that later. But can't thank y'all enough. Again, I want to thank everyone that sponsored us, everyone that continues to help us with our personal car. I can't thank everyone enough for supporting that right there. Hound Dog Chassis. And this has grown into something we never thought we'd see. Can't thank you guys enough, and can't thank everyone enough that has helped us along the way. Encouragement, sponsorship, whatever it may be. We couldn't do this without all the help, I promise. And can't thank y'all enough. I know Pops really appreciates it. And I know he appreciated all the happy birthdays. So again, thank y'all for that. And we hope everyone's having a great weekend. Hope y'all have a great week. Y'all stay safe. I know it's that time of year where we have some pretty rough weather. It come a downpour just a little bit ago, and thunder and lightning and everything else. So can't thank y'all enough. Can't thank y'all for watching. And of course, as Pops would say, God bless you all, and thank y'all very much. Until next time, we'll see y'all.